MPDC itself is on a positive rampage. It's gone from 30,000 barrels of all-time low production in 2015 to close to over 200,000 barrels today, and continue to grow with the capacity to reach 500,000. Now, all kinds of social programs. The Niger Delta crisis was key. Confidence in that sector was hellish. We tackled it very aggressively, tried to bring a lot of collaboration, a lot of intervention, a lot of relationship. And the effect of that was to calm the very restive Niger Delta. We thank exceedingly His Excellency, the President, the Vice President, and the President, who enabled the Vice President to go on a massive tour of the Niger Delta area and to restate again what the government policies were and to recreate trust. That has helped to crystallize the security that we continue to work on today. And I'm thankful to all other ministries, the Ministry of Environment, Ministry of Niger Delta, who have worked very collaboratively with us on this to continue to ensure this push. Oil production, of course, has risen on the back of all this stability, and we've moved from an all-time 1.2 today to about 2.2, roughly about 2.2, 2.3 million barrels a day. Of course, that includes condensates. Transparency and efficiency was something that we put a benchmark on. We began to publish the first monthly reports of NNPC way back in 2015. That practice has continued, so people are able to know what is going on. We began to put in place very efficient processes in all the agencies, DPR, PEF, PPPRA, on their monthly review, so that people can know what is happening. People can get an update in terms of our activities. The monthly reporting and the KPIs have been set for a lot of these agencies, continue to be monitored on an oversight basis, on a month-to-month basis. Now, in OPEC, we finally found our seat. For a very long time, we were basically distanced on certain where we were going, but we got, apart from being the president of OPEC in 2015, which is an inherited position, we created a level of trust and belief in our system to the point where we were able to place and help elect the Secretary General for OPEC. And our contributions continue to be very, very valued. We were very upfront and very leadership role-based in terms of how we approached the issue of production price cost, the issue of the pricing elevation. We've seen OPEC prices move from all-time 38 to very low 50s. We'll continue to hope that the leadership will continue to provide with Saudi Arabia, with the Secretary General of OPEC, with Russia and the rest, will enable us to be able to take these prices into the very early 60s as we go forward. A lot of work there, a lot of leadership Nigeria has been able to show. We established the National Council on Hydrocarbons, which is bringing a multi-purpose body, bringing everybody to create policies on how hydrocarbons are going to be exploited in Nigeria. We created a Nigerian gas flare commercialization program, just about to roll off. The whole idea is to finally stop gas flare and take flaring to a commercial sector where we can be able to earn money for it and remove all the environmental hazards that you see. We embarked on a massive NNPC restructuring that created 5 to 6 very independent, substantially semi-independent divisions that were going to run the corporation on a profit-based, well-focused directional policies. The present GMD continues to run that policy. So NNPC is beginning to get its understanding in terms of what NNPC should look like. Still more work to be done, but certainly a lot of speed has come from where we started. We entrenched performance management, where we can now measure people's performance, hold them to that, and I'd like to see that grow more to a point where people can only get elevated on the basis of performances, but the key is there. So all this work in 2 years, but what does tomorrow hold for us? And I would take that by questions. How do we, for example, increase the speed with which we process approvals in the sector? We set a benchmark of 6 months, all the way down from 18 months that we met. Today it's probably anywhere between 9 and 12 months. We'd like to see that come down substantially. There is absolutely no reason why approvals from conception to contract to general approval should not happen within 90 to 120 days. We'll need to move on for that. How do we remove government monopoly and free this private sector to grow? Nigeria's private sector is such a vibrant sector that once there's too much overhang of government control, the sector cannot grow. Oil sector has suffered for this over 20 years. We need to see the private sector as the benchmark for growth in this sector. We need to look at profitability. It's always easy to say that because of national burdens that are placed on the national oil company, they don't have to focus on profit. We showed in May of 2016 that you could make profit, we return their monthly profit. We need to drive that policy. And much as we realize the difficulties of this, that must be the focus, because the national oil company must be able to compete with its peers all over the world in terms of the profitability index. How do we automate licensing approvals such that people don't have to run around DPR? They can, by the flick of a button, do the applications, get the approvals, seek the documents that are required, and be an automated next generation agency. How do we grow human capacity? A lot of our parastatals still have individuals who are not fully trained in what they do. The effect of that is that being able to provide oversight functions is a challenge, because then you're dealing with a very high capacity, well-enhanced, well-trained private sector that you're supervising. We need to improve training. How do we stop gas flare? The environmental concerns have become world-focused issues. We've set a target for ourselves for 2020 to stop gas flare, well ahead 10 years before the 2030 set by United Nations. It's going to be a major challenge. We need to work on how to do that. How do we reduce business costs? Today, production in offshore fields are in excess of $32 a barrel. Production in the onshore fields are largely, we met things largely in the $27, $28 a barrel. It's improved under the present leadership of NNPC to about $23 a barrel, but that is not the focus. The focus must be that we must target $15 a barrel and over a period of number of years, because that is where our colleagues who are in OPEC are. Some are substantially even less than that, but even if you add the unique parameters of security challenges here, we shouldn't be in excess of 15. How do we review the existing operational contracts, whether it be PSCs, JVs, to create models that reduce costs substantially and ensure benefits to the country better than we're doing today? Over 50% of our fields today, over 40% of our fields today are PSC fields. But the reality is that their contribution to the national income is very, very minuscule. So whatever the models that they need to be looked at again. How do we look at national content and move the philosophy? A lot has been done here. NCDMB has done a yeoman's job in terms of raising focus, forcing opportunities to Nigerians. But we need to move on. We need to get to a point where, as a business and national aspiration, there is a collaboration in the industry to do this thing, not a compilation. Right now, it is the big stick that gets us there. It needs to become a national habit.
Okay. Nigeria's Junior Minister of Petroleum Resources, Dr. Kachikwu's midterm report. Of course, there will be a lot of reactions to what has been achieved in the oil and gas industry when the market fully reopens for September on Tuesday, the 5th. When we return after the break, of course, it's the break here in Nigeria as far as the formal economy is concerned. But of course, when those doors closed on Broad Street and elsewhere, the doors of the informal economy begin to open. But how much do we really lose each day we go off like we're doing today and on Monday? We'll get to hear that when we return.